Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back to Peter's Den. Again, we are just thrilled to be here in this new building. We left off with Joseph last week. We wrapped up Genesis, and now we are in Exodus. And we are starting with the story of Moses. So Exodus chapter 1, verse number 6. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all, he had depressing news to start on this Sunday morning, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. So, the Pharaoh has passed away that Joseph served under. Joseph has passed away. His brothers have passed away, and it's a new generation. Well, this new Pharaoh looks around, and he's like, there's an awful lot of Israelites out there, like maybe more than I have Egyptians. A little more than 5. Some Bible scholars think it's as many as 2 million. Israelites. So he looks and he's like, so many Israelites, what am I going to do? They're going to take me over. He starts to panic. Now, he starts to hide, essentially. He's like, wait a minute, these people are going to take over. And he gets really worried. He doesn't know about Joseph. He doesn't remember. Apparently, he didn't study his history books, boys and girls. He didn't remember all that Joseph had done for them. He just knew that these people, if they wanted to, could take him over, and he was worried about that. So he says, what can I do? What can I do? And his decision is to make them slaves. He decides he is going to make the Israelite people, the descendants of Jacob, who was renamed Israel, is going to make the Israelite people be his servants. They built cities for him. They made bricks. They worked for him constantly. And he's thinking, well, surely if they're busy working, then they won't be strong enough to fight. But he watches. And there's more and more and more Israelites. This isn't working out the way that the Pharaoh thought it would. So he's like, all right, I got to do something. What can I do? He talks to the ladies who helped the Israelite ladies have their babies, and they're called midwives. He talks to them and he says, if there's a baby boy born, you're to kill it. Well, wait, what? These ladies, their job was to help babies be born. That's what they did. They enjoyed that. They liked babies. And the Pharaoh had told them to kill the babies. Well, the Bible tells us that those midwives feared God. It tells us that in Exodus, that they had a fear of God and they wouldn't kill the babies. They said, no way, we are not doing that. Killing a baby is wrong. And they wouldn't do it. Well, the Pharaoh figures this out. Like, the babies aren't dying. There's more being born. And so he calls the midwives and he's like, what are you doing? And they told him basically that the Israelites had the babies before they could get there. And God blessed the midwives, though, for not killing the babies. Well, the Pharaoh's like, all right, making them servants didn't work. Having the midwives kill the babies didn't work. I'm going to have my soldiers do it. And he told the soldiers that if they found any baby boys, they were to throw them into the river. Then they would have become food for the alligators and the crocodiles and those animals who were in the river. Oh. Can you imagine being a mom at that time? Can you imagine being a dad at that time and wondering what's going to happen to your baby? Well, there was a lady named Jochebed, and she had a beautiful baby boy. This baby boy was born, and for 3 months, they kept it real quiet. They tried to keep the baby quiet. They tried to have it not cry. Well, as babies get older, their cries get louder. Their voices get louder. And by about 3 months, boys and girls, they couldn't hide this baby anymore. And Jochebed's worrying, what am I going to do? What can we do with the baby? I'm not going to kill the baby. I can't let the soldiers find the baby. What can we do? She has an idea. She says, I know what we can do. I'll make a basket. So she builds a basket, she secures it with some tar so nothing can leak through and get to the baby, and she actually sticks the basket right in the river where the soldiers were throwing the babies to be killed. Stuck them in kind of the bulrushes If you can kind of think of like cattails maybe, might be something you've seen. So where he would have stayed closer to the shore, not drifting out. Don't picture this little baby drifting out in the middle of the river getting taken away. He was near the edge. And Jochebed tells Miriam, her daughter, that I want you to watch the baby. I want you to watch the basket in the water. I want you to make sure that nothing happens. Well, Miriam's down there watching the baby, and she hears some feet. She hears some people coming. She hears some ladies talking, laughing, giggling, carrying on. She's like, oh no, they're going to find the baby. Sure enough, it's the princess. And she sees this basket. She's like, oh, what's that basket? She has one of her ladies go and get the basket out of the water, and wow, she picks the baby up. She looks at the baby and she thinks, this must be one of those babies of the Israelites. Well, Miriam's sitting there going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm supposed to take care of the baby. What am I going to do? And she's getting nervous. She's like, she had an idea. God was watching over, boys and girls. God was watching over Jochebed. God was watching over Miriam. God was watching over the baby. He had a special plan. Not once did God look away. Not once did God forget about his children. He had a plan that we're going to unfold and we're going to talk about for weeks to come, boys and girls. Well, Miriam comes and she tells the princess, she says, would you like me to go get a lady who could nurse and take care of this baby? Do you want me to go get someone? And the princess is like, well, yeah, that'd be great. That would be awesome. Somebody to take care of the baby while it's still a baby. And then when it grows up, it can come and live in the palace. And so, sure enough, boys and girls, who do you think Miriam took the baby home to? That's right. Miriam took the baby home to her mom. Jochebed got to raise the baby with the protection of the princess, saying no one could harm that baby. Now that's awesome. That's great. But she does know she's going to have to give that baby to the princess at some point. So that is sad for Jochebed. But she takes advantage of raising this baby for as long as she's going to have this small child to love God, to know about what God has done. And she does. She raises the baby, and then it comes time. She has to take the baby, take it to the palace, and hand it over to the princess. Well, the princess names the baby Moses because he came up out of the river. That was the meaning of his name. Well, Moses, I'm sure you boys and girls have heard about Moses and all that he does for the children of Israel. Do you know what, boys and girls? God was taking care of Moses even when he was a baby. God takes care of us. He knows you. He knew you before your mom and dad even knew you, boys and girls. God loves you so much, and God has a plan for you. Boys and girls, as you think of Moses, this baby, I want you to think about how God loves you wherever you are, whatever stage you're in, that God is going to take care of you, boys and girls. God loves you more than even your mom and dad do. I hope you have a good week.